There's Ellie Goulding, and she'll be back on the playlist a little bit later on with her latest single. That's Lights. Brings us to 24 minutes from 9 o'clock. Mike Barrett in Mike number 2. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. I thought I was the only Mike here. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. No, Mike input number 2 here at the studio. I get it. I get it.
It was like yesterday. I didn't get the fact that I used all of the exact same numbers for the Cash Call Jackpot as the previous day, but in different order. I really, honest to goodness,
you made a
didn't
faux pas,
realize I used all the same numbers.
Oops.
Anyways, good policy where we talk about keeping your family, yourself safe in times of need and being prepared for it.
Yeah, we're getting down to you can call it a lot of things. People they call this season coming up things that I'm not allowed to say on the air. So for the sake of cleanliness, we'll call it the hunker down season.
Cabin fever. Season.
Although, get out and enjoy it. Ski, snowmobile, snowshoe, do all that fun stuff. But yeah, we're closing the doors and locking the windows is what we're doing.
Right. And there are a majority of folks out there, Mike, as we head into the heating season that if they didn't do it this year, they've done it over the past couple of years. Some are planning on doing it, switching their heating source. Like my landlord still uses oil, right? Fuel.
Sure.
A lot of folks have transitioned to propane, a little less expensive. A lot of people have gone to more natural heating sources, wood and wood pellets. Scary time of year if you haven't been keeping up on it. Let's talk about what where we're headed.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point. So, with the cost of heating fuel, I think it's very, very likely, if not a guarantee, that there'll be people that'll be heavily dependent, and many that are always heavily dependent on wood heat, but some that may be reverting back to or becoming more dependent on the wood versus the fossil fuels that maybe they've used in years past. And the importance of that is to make sure that you are properly set up, that you have an appropriate wood heat install. You can't have sharing of the flue with any other heating device with a wood stove or any other device for that matter with most companies. Not all. We have a couple that say, we don't really care. I like those guys. But most say, hey, look, you can't share a flue. It's just not allowed. So your wood has to be by itself, can't share with another wood. Your wood can't share with oil, blah, blah, blah. So if you're going to be reverting back, make sure you're setting it up appropriately. Make sure you're letting your insurance company know, because there is a surcharge for burning wood. It's between $25 to $50 or so, depending on the company. Depending on what kind of policy you have, if you have what we call an excess or surplus policy, and if you know what I just said, you probably know if you have it or not, there can be wood burning exclusions on there. So if you didn't have wood, started this policy, and now you're thinking of going to wood, and you have a loss with the wood fire, you could potentially be not covered. So make sure that you're letting your insurance know that you're using wood heat if you have not previously.
You talk about proper installation of any heating source. We had a client in the past who does just that. They will. Somebody may still use their propane, their oil, whatever, but they'll add on a wood pellet burner. You talk about not sharing the flue. By the way, nobody wants to share the flue.
Yeah.
I had to do that because of the mic thing.
Funny joke.
But they've got, there are products out there that allow you to do this. They're through wall or through roof chimneys, and they have to be properly installed.
Absolutely.
Very important.
Absolutely. You got to make sure you got proper draft and everything as well. So, and it's not me. I'm just the message relayer, so to speak. But you just need to be careful. Make sure you're following, proper spacing on wood heat. Make sure you've got the 36-inch, aka 3-foot spacing all around your wood stove. Less if you have proper heat shields, which can bring it down to 18 inches. Most importantly, follow the manufacturer's guidelines in the manual that you have. And just have common sense with the process, of course. It's just that's the biggest thing.
I would think, too, that it's great to have the practice of not, once you scoop out the hot ashes and the cinders and you put it in your ash bucket, that you make the next step, take it outside.
Away from the home.
Yeah, don't keep it inside if you're headed off to work.
Yeah, don't keep it in the garage. Don't leave it on the porch or the deck. Take it off the property. Not off the property, but off the dwelling, out of the property. So, it's so important to have that and to make sure you're following appropriate safety. And there's a lot of companies have guidelines as to and recommendations, if you will, on some safety tips. So, always reach out to your insurance company, and I'm sure you could probably get that information. But more so than just the wood heat, this is the time of year where you want to make sure, and fortunately, we have that biannual reminder to swap out the batteries in your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, and that's coming up on Saturday when we change the clocks again. But make sure you have, as important as making sure the batteries are up to date, make sure the units are not expired. A lot of people forget this or aren't even aware of this, but carbon monoxide and smoke detectors really have a lifespan. Some go up to 10 years now, which is fantastic. But on the back of them, when you're swapping out the battery, just take a peek and look at the manufacturer date and try to figure out, okay, is this thing still good? Should I swap this out? You want to make sure that they're working properly.
Well, most of the older ones were good for 5 years. We learned that from St. J. and Linden Fire when they come in every year during National Fire Safety Month. Inspections are always important. Insurance companies will inspect a property to determine if it's fit. So we're talking about inspecting. You talk about carbon monoxide, inspecting chimneys.
Yes.
And something a lot of folks don't think about, and it doesn't matter what the heat source is for it, your clothes dryer. A lot of people think that fires can only happen with a fire present, like in a propane.
Yeah, absolutely not.
According to some of our clients in the past, electric dryers, clothes dryers, are just as much a threat.
Yes.
Not so much carbon monoxide.
No, but certainly a fire potential. So make sure you're checking the vents, especially if it's been a while. It's just so important to take some of these small steps of precautions. Just to, an ounce of what is it? An ounce of Prevention is a pound of cure, or whatever the saying is. So it's important to do that, and this is really the time of the year to do it, because you don't want to do it while the fire season is already upon us. I make sure I check my smoke detectors. Last year, I found that all of mine were expired, swapped them all out, and it made me feel better that we had something that I felt more confident that it was going to respond if we needed it. So.
Yeah, we replaced ours within the last 2 years with the new ones that are good for 10 years. Plus, because we have a rental property, they're hardwired.
Yes, hardwired is pretty key for the it's not a requirement unless with the state, unless it's a four-family unit or higher, but still really good to have if you have a rental property. Many companies, actually insurance companies, will require it too.
All right, last subject of fire safety is mom, dad, set yourselves up with a fire escape routine as we head into the season. So these are just great things to keep in mind as we head into the heating season. Mike, we've got just a minute or two left here to talk about something that you've poured your heart and soul into with a bunch of folks, and that is the NEK CAN, the Northeast Kingdom Cancer Action Network.
Yes.
We've got a fun party night coming up.
Yeah, so the Northeast Kingdom Cancer Action Network, call us NEK CAN for short. It's a benefit fundraising event this Saturday at the Moose Lodge. I believe it starts at 7. It is an 80s dance party. So we've got DJ Richard Potaniak from he's over from like the Barrie Montpelier area. Really nice guy, really good at what he does, and he's going to be our DJ extraordinaire for the night. There'll be prizes for best 80s attire and things of that nature. So it should be a fantastic time. All proceeds, it's $20 at the door per person. 100% of the proceeds will go to NEK CAN. And I'll also throw one more thing out to you, Jeff. We're very honored and happy and humbled to be able to say that grants are available. So if you go to our Facebook page or go to nekcan.org, if you know somebody diagnosed and currently in cancer treatment who might need some assistance, sign them up, sign yourself up, and let us help you. That's what we're here for.
That's what it's all about. 7 to 11 this Saturday on the 80s note and costume. All I need is to take those scissors and cut right there, and I'm full on 80s. Baby.
Absolutely.
All right. Good policies. Tell them how to get in touch with you.
Sure. You can give us a call, 748-5224. Barrett Insurance is on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury, online, thebarrettagency.com. Google, Facebook, and YouTube. Just look for Barrett Insurance Agency.
And nekcan.org.
Great
Music
site.
from BTS.